Alright, test, test. This is going to be the sound record test and going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Forecourt Jester coming to you from a recorded match here. This is the Ionia versus Noxus Grudge match that Riot Games hosted on Friday, December 10th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Now, this game was done live over the stream, and I was watching the stream. I did take a good fraps of it here because what I wanted to do is just throw out. This could be the only 5v5 match I could ever do, and just to go along with that, I wanted to try to get all my impressions down of this match, and hopefully we'll see what everybody thinks about it. So, as far as I know, this is going to be the only YouTube version of the match you can find, and I really hope you enjoy the sound of my voice. So we do have here for the teams, I'm not too sure of the bans because I wanted to come into this game fresh. I will add them to the YouTube team description for you, but we do have a Scion, we have a Misfortune, we have a Singed, a Morgana, and a Vladimir. Now, the players here are kind of the more well-known players around the forums and the community. They're all deep-rooted into lore, and they're all into the role-playing sort of aspect of this. Now, we do have the viewpoint here of their commentator. Riot Phreak himself was doing the commentating for this match, and I do think he did do a splendid job. And you will be able to hear them slightly in the background. They are muted, and I really just hopefully everything will come out pretty awesome here. So I do believe that Ionia versus Noxus, this is the second Grudge match. I did happen to not catch the first one, but this was an entertaining match. It is showing off the new spec system here for League of Legends that Riot is using here, going with a 6 versus 5. And as I said, all the video here is courtesy of the Riot Games, so I have no control over the camera. That was a little bit of a comic about why Rammus is not being played in this match, and now you can see the teams coming out. So we do have Scion, Misfortune, Singed, Morgana, and Vladimir. We can ignore Anivia today, but they will be going up against Mumu, Kennen, Ashe, Soraka, and Udyr. Now you will notice here from the summoning spells that Udyr is going to be going Smite, and he is going to be doing a jungling. Same here with the Scion. They're both going Smite, so it will be a 2-1-1 lane setup here with a 5th roaming jungler. We'll have to see how they go. I have no idea what Phreak was doing here, but during the very first parts of the cast, during the picks there, and up until now, they actually ran out of sound, and it just randomly decided to destroy itself. So, that being said, Anivia goes into Never Neverland, and the lanes do come out, and you kind of see a very vast difference right off the bat here, as we do have Phreak's team here, which I do believe is the Noxus team, and they're all just going straight to this brush. Now, all 5 of them are going here. We do see Team Ionia out there. You can see them on the minimap. As I said, this is the big advantage we have with the Riot recorded game, because they do have that spec system, and this is what a 5 versus 5 professional commentary would sound like if a lot of other of us, had that kind of technology. Unfortunately, we don't, which is why what we do at GameReplays.org is we do 4 versus 4 tournaments. But that was all aside. As I said, right now the two teams are very different on their opening strategies. We do have Scion there. He's going to go for that blue buff straight off the bat, and him in this brush, he's going to be able to see anyone coming down without being seen. And the other team there is going to be able to stop any kind of advance up through the river. And at the same time, I mean, 4-on-1, that is almost a very sealed fate sort of idea. 4-on-1 this early into the game, very easy to get bloodlust, first kill, whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, nothing seems to happen. And Phreak disabled all the sound, or sorry, not all the sound, all the fog. Now we do have the fog. You can easily tell here Ionia not very interested in that, first few minutes of warfare, and they will not be doing anything at all in that regard. We do have Ashe going in the mid. Udyr's already finished up with his wolves. He's going on now to the wraiths. I do believe it does look like he's going to the race. We have Ashe in the mid up against Misfortune, and that will put us with a solo lane up top with Vladimir going up against that Kennen. Now, Vladimir, of course, he is a manaless hero, but so is Kennen, so to speak. Now, the big difference there is Vladimir likes to do lifesteal-based attacks. Of course, his big, powerful nuke gives him health based upon the enemy, and But you got to be very careful though, because Kennen is also a very great early laner with those Shuriken. As I said, both are manaless champions, so they can just spam, spam, spam. Down south will be where the 2v2 action occurs. That will be Soraka and uh, somebody I can't tell from the icon, Amumu. Soraka and Amumu will be taking on Morgana and Singe down south, so that's almost like a tank disable versus a tank heal. As we all know, Dark Binding on Morgana is a great early game spell. A lot of First Bloods and Bloodlust come out of that, and it also incites a lot of rage. Now, down south, very hard to tell who's going to have the advantage, but as we just watched this top lane, Kennen and Vladimir, I hope to God that they're farming well. It's very difficult to tell with the spectator system. There's no indication of the last hit being won, so to speak. But Sion is looking pretty strong right now. Full health, using his shield to full advantage. Now he's just going to jump into the brush in case there was some kind of gank being set up. And a very common strategy is the enemy team will just go and ward this red buff, so to speak, so that they can easily get a gank off when they go for that red buff. But of course, nothing like that is going to be happening. And Guardsman Bob, they're playing Udyr, has now picked up his blue and we're going to be resuming his jungling circuit, so to speak. So the score is 0-0. The game is 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the match. And Guardsman Bob, level 4, coming out. He's keeping up very well right now with the leveling spree. I mean, Roku in the mid there with Miss Fortune. She's level 4 as well. And now Sion just dinging that as well. So right now, not too surprising on the play. It's just all very defensive. Nobody really wants to give away that first blood, that bloodlust. I mean, that almost sets the tone for the entire match. And this being a grudge match, you know that there's going to be the shit talk, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Noxus versus Ionia, they're, two very deep rooted factions in their own sort of lore, so to speak. And we just see them really deep into the laning phase here. Level 4 coming out for Ashe as well, and Roku in the middle there. Miss Fortune. Miss Fortune versus Ashe, I mean, both are very ranged, carry kind of potential kind of heroes, and they both are excellent mids. Now, Miss Fortune might have a little bit of an advantage with her first skill there, with that uh, I don't actually know what it's called, but the first skill there where she can target a creep and then that bullet will just keep continuing onward to Ashe. It is a good potential for harassment, but at this time we do have a Scion coming up. He is fully buffed up, and now he's going to turn on his shield. He's going to go right up to Frost, and unfortunately Frost is going to just jump away from that. She's going to use the flash to disjoint that stun, and now Scion, a little bit of a consolation prize. He's going to just run up to her, explode, put on some damage, but now in order to keep Roku with his current leveling gain, so Sion's just going to go right back to farming. Udyr is returning to the jungle. Not too sure where he went off to. Wasn't paying too much attention, but he does look like he's angling very south. But there is a ward there for Noxus, as they're easily going to see this. So down goes the ping, and I'm really hoping the camera will go down there fairly soon. But no, it does not look like Udyr is going to make any kind of entrance to that little bottom lane. He's instead going to go to these golems, and that's going to actually be found out here by Sion. And this will actually probably be the first jungle versus jungle conflict to go down. So he does find Udyr. Udyr does pop the turtle shell. Guy's going to get a free hit on that. But Guardsman Bob going to be running with a ghost. But down goes the Dark Binding. And Singed even coming in. But his team is there to support Guardsman Bob getting healed. And now it's just really turning the tables, as it does look like Guardsman Bob will get away from this, being body blocked kind of here by Amumu and Soraka. And now I don't know when Roku came down south, but he's doing a great job supporting this team, as they did say that Udyr was really up for the grabs for that kill. No deaths going to be going down. Everyone's going to be returning to their lane. Now, with Miss Fortune, she did come south. That's going to afford mid a little bit of free farm, which may put Roku there behind the leveling curve. So level 6 compared to Ashe, who's just also now level 6, but that last creep is not going to be enough to hit her 7. So there's a slight experience difference there, but Roku is just going to eat up all these creeps, no problem. Kaboom. Okay, that's not going to be her first skill. Kaboom. Alright, fine. Not going to use her first skill again. I just really wanted to see Roku's first skill in action there. But Poison Iden up here with the Vladimir and the Kennen, a very... well, they're both full health. They both don't use mana. It's just going back and forth. No real advantage there. I can't see the creep scores, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, because I was not the camera. This is not a game being recorded from replay. This is exactly what everyone saw on the Friday during the live stream. And right now, I would have to say it's hard to tell who has an advantage. I mean, it's 0-0 that we do have a ward up by the dragon here for Noxus, but I mean that's about the only ward up. That may actually be a lie. I do see another red dot here on the bottom, right by the bottom tower here for Ionia, as well as one in. I think there's one up in the brush here, just by Ash, where right where Udyr is right now. Now Udyr does look like he's circling north. He's coming back mid, however, and this could be devastating for Roku. Roku just throwing out his ultimate for some strange reason, going to be flashing. The guardsman Bob comes in, and he's just going to be laying on the hurt. Out comes the Ash arrow, and that looks to be the first blood right there, with a good combination between the frost arrow from Ash and guardsman Bob, and 4 Ionia coming out in the. As I said, there's going to be shit talk in the first kill. That's almost a guaranteed. Now we do have a ward going down here from guardsman Bob, and he's going to be taking out this ward, and that's just going to be a little bit of extra cash for him. But guardsman Bob now level 7. As I said, he's keeping up with the solos quite well for a jungler, because right now Roku is level 7 on that Misfortune, and Poison Iden up top, that Vladimir, he's also level 7. But who's not level 7? Level 5 was that Scion there in the mid, and level 8 on the Ashe. I do believe Ashe is the top level of the game right now, doing very well for herself. Hasn't had to leave lane, scoring a kill, and just taking free farm advantage whenever Roku left that lane. Oh, wow. So, lots of action going down here. Ionia versus Noxus grudge match. A very high stakes game on the money here. As we just pan to the bottom here, we do have Soraka and the Amumu. They're just kind of hanging out here down south. Singe throwing out his deadly gas, trying to do a little bit of farming. And there's a little bit of a creep score, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see who's doing good. 60 kills there on Kennen with 61 on Misfortune. Definitely doing very well from the 70 on Ashe, however. She's definitely out farming this mid, as you can tell, with 1 kill and 10 extra creeps. That's going to be a good chunk of cash to her. Who's not doing so well in the creep score, 17 here on Soraka, but that's to be really expected, as she's kind of just helping out Amumu, who does have 20, but between the two of them, 37 kills. They're not really doing the best last hitting potentials they could. On the flip side, Morgana is at 22 as well. It's Singed at 32, so that's a 54 to about a 37. So right now, bottom lane definitely being won out here by Noxus. And we are just looking at the summoner spells here. We do have Ghost on 4 of the 5 Noxians, as well as teleports, a little bit of Ignite as well, but not really too many teleports. I think I only saw 1 teleport in there. I might have actually seen none. As I said, I'm not controlling the camera, so I do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. But we do have Guardsman Bob coming up top, and Poison Iden going to be using his ultimate to just get away from that. No gank going down up top, and right now it is still going to be residing at a 1-0 score. What does Guardsman Bob have for items? He does have himself, I believe those are Ninja Tabby, with a potion and his cloth armor. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't finished up the Blood Razor, at least the first part of it, the underpowered component to it. But he looks like he's going to go circle back to the jungle, and as we can see, all the jungle is currently up. We do have level 9 coming out here on Kennen, and Kennen being played by this Eclipse. He's going to land a lot of free shots on that top tower. Now, an important part of this game is, of course, map awareness, map vision, and wards. Wards can play a very big part of this game, as you can tell, Phreak is just freaking out here about how we can't see any kind of wards here for Ionia. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wards on the map for Ionia, and we only have the one there for Noxus down by that dragon, and that's going to afford a lot of vision, ladies and gentlemen, for the Ionia team.